to move off campus after freshman year and don't want to get a meal plan, all of your hard-earned rollover $9 will not count. This is just a bill that will remove that contingency, saying that if you purchase a dining plan, have $9 left over, and don't intend to buy a meal plan, you can still keep those $9.
All right. Any questions? Seeing none, Ms. Phillips or Senator Wood.
Just a quick one. Is that also including from the spring to the next fall?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. That ends question and answer. So this will be referred to the Student Services Committee. All right. Are there any further items for open session? Senator Weger.
Hi, howdy everybody. I have basically a bill requesting the political science minor.
All right. All in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That passes. You have 2 minutes.
Well, howdy.
Howdy.
So basically, right now, the status quo, Texas A&M does not have a political science minor. A lot of people don't even know that. So, a lot of people have expressed concerns that, they want to have a political science minor back. Well, back in the 80s, the minor was removed due to a lack of student interest. And, now that there is a lot of interest and with the quality of the Bush School government, like, more and more people are wanting to get that minor, including myself. So that's basically it. Just wanting to say copy of that says political science. I've talked to Vince Hernandez, who is the advisor for the political science department, and he is all in favor of this, but just really wanted to see it in a formal bill so that he could pass it on to the next step. So,
All right. Are there any questions? Seeing none, this bill will be referred to the Academic Affairs Committee. Are there any further items? Senator Williams.
It's got a parking pass options bill. To give a brief description, this is something that it's advocating for a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and for a Tuesday, Thursday option be created for parking passes. I'll elaborate if given the opportunity.
All right. All in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
The chair calls his own division. All in favor of adding this to the agenda, please stand. Okay, 42 votes in favor, all opposed, please stand. And again, so this is after the agenda, you have 2 minutes for a presentation.
How do you get Alrighty. There are some students that do not take classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and there are other students who don't take classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday due to extenuating circumstances like a job or wanting to sleep in on some days. That said, I think it is important for those students to be given an opportunity to spend less money. I'm all in favor of people not having to pay for a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday pass if they aren't going to be on campus during those days. This is just a bill that will advocate for that to be created if it is possible with all the technology and logistics. It's essentially saying that there should be a small number of parking lots, like one parking garage, that adopts this idea until it's proving to be successful, beneficial, and enforceable by transportation services.
Senator Janino.
Have you asked anyone relevant in transportation services if any of the technology or information or capabilities is possible to execute this stuff?
I have not. I intend to pursue this a little bit further if we get past it.
Point of information, do we represent transportation services or do we represent students?
We represent students.
Whoop. Thank you.
Okay, just quiet. All right, this bill passes to the Student Services Committee.
He actually went past that.
All right, Chair Harris.
Liaison act. I mean, just real quick. So basically, last meeting, I brought a bill for the Senate. The Senate committee liked the bill, didn't like the fact that it was a constitutional amendment, so we're going to change the statute. Instead, wording is 100% the same. So let me put it on the agenda. That's really all I have to say.
All right, all in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That passes. You have 2 minutes.
Thanks, that's really all I should say.
Seeing none, this will be referred to the Rules and Regulations Committee. Did you have one? All right. Okay, I think you had your placard up next, Senator Ponte.
Yes, sir, I have a bill for open session.
Okay. Description?
It's a bill creating a student government association's communications director.
Okay. All in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That passes. You have 2 minutes.
Howdy. So last meeting, a lot of us talked about, the fact that, okay, student government lacks communication between the student body, and last meeting perceived student government to be a benefit to the student body or student senate, not to be very, representative of the student body as well. So basically what I'm asking is for the student body president to create and appoint a student government association's director of communications. What this will accomplish is for student government associations to all work together and have the same image and the same voice. And one concern I really have is the website. As you know, notice the websites, all the committees of the Student Government Association are responsible for their own websites, for the material and everything like that. But if you look at them, not too many of them are obligated to actually update what's put. So with the student government, with the director of communications, one thing that would be great to work on is to have SGA as one website where students can be able to use it and find, get information on different committees, get information about student senate. Another thing about this bill with the communications director is that this will allow SGA to have, kind of be able to rebrand our image, even with social media. If you look on Facebook, our SGA Student Senate, SGA Facebook only has 1,000 likes, and we have 50,000 students on campus. And a lot of students, as you would see, many of y'all on computers are on Facebook right now. So we should be able to take advantage of social media to allowing us to bridge that communication gap between SGA and the student body.
All right.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Say your point.
Could you state for us the mission of the Development Commission within SGA?
I do not have that with me currently. Is that something that you have?
Yes.
Okay, could you bring that to me?
Okay.
All right. The mission of the Development Commission is, this organization is responsible for the Path to Success Brick Endowment campaign, which is projected to raise $1 million. Funds from the campaign go toward ensuring the longevity of student government organizations. The Development Commission also executes communication efforts within SGA and to the student body through various media. All right.
Point of information,
See.
have they been able to successfully execute that?
That is a judgment call. I won't answer that. Are there any questions for the senator? Senator Williams.
Senator O'Hoyle, Mays Business School. So is this going to be a position that's under the executive as vice
As the
president?
executive cabinet, yes, sir.
Okay, I read somewhere in there that it says that it was a chair position.
No, it's executive cabinet position.
Okay.
All right, and that concludes question and answer. This bill will be referred to the Rules and Regulations Committee.
Point of information,
Say your point.
didn't the Senate used to have a webmaster who kept the website up and now like communication stuff?
The Student Senate has a webmaster who does that. Yes.
Never mind, actually.
He is in this room right now.
Raise your hand.
All right. Okay. Are there any? Senator Williams.
Last but not least, the West Campus dinner bill. This is a bill that says we want to be able to eat dinner on West Campus.
All right. Are there any? Sorry, I'm getting myself a little mixed up. Okay. All in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. That passes. 2-minute presentation. Yeah.
Hey! All right. The best option you have to eat dinner on West Campus right now is the Timeout Sports Deli or go off campus. And while both of those options are delicious, none of them are very efficient for people that are spending all of their time going to classes on West Campus. Talking about business students especially, there's a lot of business students that don't get off of West Campus, myself pretty much included. This is just a bill that would make one of two suggestions. The first is to extend one of the dining venues hours basically past 5:30 where they're all ending right now. The other is to create a new dining venue on West Campus that would serve dinner and or more meals and would hopefully be a delicious alternative to what we have right now. Questions?
All right, are there any questions? Seeing none, this bill is referred to the Student Services Committee. All right, it is now 8:29, so we will return to the motion to pull the Veterans Resource Center bill out of committee. So when we left off, we were in debate about the motion itself. Is there any debate that no debate had actually been conducted? Is there any debate against that motion? Any further debate? Seeing none, the chair deems debate one-sided, and we will now move into a vote on whether to take this out of committee. All those, say your point. Yes, this is a 2/3 vote.
No prior notice.
Correct. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. That passes, and you now have an old business presentation to present this bill.
Okay, sweet, thanks. Okay. Alrighty, sorry guys for the mix-up. Oh, by the way, an email went out to Student Services saying the chair said he had a test the next day and there was only one bill to be decided upon, and he emailed it out, and he just somehow, this bill just completely slipped through the cracks. So anyway, there's your answer on what I need to do. Alrighty, Taylor, you want to take it away? Very simple.
Sure. So I met with Thomas and several other individuals across campus, and we started discussing what can be done with the new Veterans Resource Support Center. Now, when President Obama signed Executive Order 13607, it mandated a lot of things for schools that take GI bills. It mandated academic advisors, it mandated data collection, it mandated return on graduation, retainment, things like that. So they created this center in hopes of beginning to track some of this and provide some services for veterans. What we realized quickly was that Student Services did not have the support, that it did hack this center out of the budgets of the rest of what is Student Services. And they created the center with minimal funding, one individual, and then admissions later on came in and attached the military admissions liaison to the office. Now, since the creation of the center, Texas A&M's veteran population has started to become more centralized. We're actually starting to connect with each other. We've recognized over 11 or 12, I think, which is set up our 12 pro-veteran support group here at Texas A&M. And what we're starting to find is the Veteran Resource and Support Center just doesn't have the support from the university. Now, that being said, when talking with Colonel Smith, who runs the Resource and Support Center, he has a bunch of ideas of where he wants to take the center, and he just doesn't have the support. He doesn't have student workers. He doesn't have any other staff other than himself and the secretary. And quite frankly, he's got about a 5-inch thick binder of things he has to do and things that he's being drawn into, with people coming in wanting to help veterans, with donors coming in, with other organizations, with requirements from the new executive order, state legislation, and federal legislation. In addition to that, the military liaison has gone from receiving 25 new veterans per month to well over 60 per month, and now she's overwhelmed with the amount of traffic from veterans who are getting out of the service and coming to Texas A&M. We've already seen a 20% increase in veteran enrollment over the last year, and that number is going to only increase. That being said, this bill is intended to provide some backing to the Veteran Resource and Support Center from student fees in the amount of $58,000 per year. It translates to about 53.7 cents per student per year. It also goes further to begin appointing and starting some of the data collection that's mandated by law, to appoint some of the positions that are mandated by law, and to begin consolidating resources where able. Obviously, with Texas A&M's campus, it's too big to say, well, it's mandated, so let's all consolidate. No, that's unthinkable, and as a veteran myself, it would be a tax on the university. But at the same time, if it's mandated, it's kind of one of those things that has to be done. So with that being said, the $58,000 allotment per year from the UAF and then the ability to consolidate where able through co-location only and not administrative control from other departments of the university.
And if I could just add, guys, I don't know if we all have our different motivations why we get into student government. One of my major motivations to get into SGA when I first got on campus was I wanted to move toward making us the most veteran-friendly campus in America, if possible. It's a lofty goal, but I think you should aim as high as possible. This is a very simple step toward doing that. This does not ask for any increase in student fees. I'm against pretty much every bill that asks for an increase in student fees. That's one of the things I ran on. Thank you. I know many of y'all said the same. So again, this is asking for just simple money that is already being collected just to be allocated to our veterans. You know how long we've had a full-time veteran on staff to meet veteran services? Was it been a couple of months?
He was hired September 4th.
That was the first time, like ever. Like we've been lacking in this area. So we didn't even have a veteran on campus meeting veterans' needs until September. Like not like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or even last year. Like September was the first time we hired this guy. Okay, and so well, you know, we just now have the Veterans Resource Center. We just now have the Veterans Line. I mean, we're behind. We're Texas A&M. Like we've got to do better than this. Okay, and so this is a way to make up for some of that ground. Colonel Smith is an incredible man and has a ton of awesome things to do. He just needs the resources in order to do it. And again, the money's already there. I was walking across campus today, and I saw a smart car like roll right in front of me. I see parking attendants going around on Segways to write us all more tickets. There is money being spent all over the place. And I think that we can spare a little bit over 50 cents per student, which has already been taken out of your pocket, to go toward veterans. I think that's okay. Now, I could be wrong, but it's pretty simple. And knowing where all the other money from the UAF is going, I think it's all right if we put these people now we're not even asking to put them in front of the line, just 50 cents further per student, considering they risk their lives to protect us. So that's my question. Any questions that you guys have?
All right, first is Karen Henry.
Your academic chairs. So my question is why $58,000?
In talking with Colonel Smith, we had to decide what his needs were. And we also needed to decide we don't want veterans to be the tax on the university. The other thing you'll see in this bill is that the student fee is not infinite. It has a life term. It is in conjunction with an endowment that will be set up in conjunction with the Veteran Resource and Support Center. Once the endowment can generate the income necessary, the fee will be life. That money will be pulled back to the university. In terms of hiring student workers, it was determined that $58,000 could accommodate up to 4 student workers and 1 graduate assistant, as well as have provided the necessary recruiting funds to go to Lockland Air Force Base and to go to Fort Hood to start drawing veterans into Texas.
If I could add to that, Tyler, so you just said there's a sunset clause on this. I would be hard pressed for anybody to find anything in the UAF with a sunset clause. Okay, they're saying we only want funding for a certain period of time so we can do it ourselves. So that's pretty awesome.
All right, next question goes to Chair Cheshire.
Withdrawn.
Chair Sosa.
Chair Sosa, Finance. What types of fundraising efforts do you think will be conducted to raise the $58,000 or to raise the endowment so that we can be sufficient?
We're applying for grants. We're already turning away donors because Colonel Smith just can't take it. He doesn't have time to set the meetings with people who want to come give money to veterans. He can't do it because he doesn't have ways to shovel off the rest of the work. He has time to meet with these donors. We have the time to start building in through donor initially. Other ways, the Veteran Resource and Support Center is planning on doing it is through fundraising through the different pro-veteran groups that we have. We also have campaigns and other grants through the IAVA, Wounded Warrior, USO. There's so many different options that we need to explore. The problem is we don't have the time to handle it. We don't have time to handle the traffic. We need extra support initially so that we can start building our town.
Senator Walters. Chair Miller. Chair Henry.
Chairman Henry, Academic Affairs. So I guess my question is regarding the sunset clause. Is this something that we can enforce or that's binding at all?
Not to my knowledge, but I will say this, that when dealing with military population, if we say we're going to do something, we're going to honor it. I mean, you can take it on board, There's nothing that, written in the law or written anywhere that this does go that will say, hey, look, well, we'll just keep it on going. But you can take it at my word.
We can also turn them down and buy more Segways.
Chair Cheshire.
Chair Cheshire, Legislative Affairs. Sort of touching on what Chair Landry says, do you have a personal definition of what would be, quote, a clear sign of operating with stability on funding from Federal Resources and Support Center? And who would make that decision? Would it be like military people who are working there to do the worker's opinion, or would it be sort of a university administrator deciding whether or not that the Veterans Resource Center was operating on capacity enough that it could not, it could stand to lose the funding that it's getting from UVA?
That would stand to be conducted by university officials. Obviously, as students, there's no way we could determine that, and even still, with the amount of time it may take, it could take 5 years, it could take 15 years to raise that amount of money. So by that time, I'm going to be long gone. The veterans who are currently here are going to be long gone. They could have even hired a new director at that point. So it will be strictly up to the university officials to decide, okay, look, we have enough within our endowment, generating enough income, we've met our goal, we're comfortable with where we're at, okay, let's focus on it.
Carrie, if I could add, I don't know what would be the, the actual definition of adequate or not. However, I do know that we are nowhere close to adequate right now, though. So I don't know if this would fully get us there. I mean, I don't know what it would be. We are far from it right now.
But I can tell you what other universities have done. University of Houston has a standalone center that has a lounge, that has meeting facilities, that has their own VA rep. They have computer lounge. They have pretty much everything. University of Texas is something very similar. They have the University of Texas is far outstripping what A&M is doing. Texas Tech, same thing. Baylor, same thing. I can go to every single university here, and the fact that A&M is just now hopping on board as and we're supposed to be military friendly. It wasn't until General Weber actually was hired on board that A&M was designated a military friendly college. He's the one that pushed that and made that happen when he was hired on. We didn't form the first university committee to support veterans until the end of 2008, beginning of 2009. That committee's still in place. It's grown. I mean, A&M for some reason is just a little bit behind the curve, and we're looking to try and push it to the front of the curve. And in conjunction with that, I've got a lot of plans for next year for things that I'd like to do with student government, and I know Colonel Smith has a lot of plans with things he'd like to do with bringing in outside organizations.
All right, are there any further questions? Seeing none, that concludes the period for question and answer. We will now move to the debate. Is there any debate against this bill? Seeing none, the chair deems debate one-sided, and we will now move into a vote. Are there any motions?
Move for a voice vote.
Motion has been made for a voice vote. All in favor of doing that, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. That passes unanimously. All in favor of the Veterans Resource Support Center bill, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. That also passes unanimously. We'll now return to open session. Are there any further items for open session?
Point of information.
State your point.
Is there any kind of like accountability for the committees to actually meet? Because I get that the student services, like, they just didn't meet this week, but my committee hasn't met all semester.
Okay, so the committee chairs, and I may not, basically, committees are supposed to be meeting every 2 weeks. If a committee doesn't meet, then every member of that committee is supposed to receive an access to my knowledge. So basically, if a committee has not met all semester, then everyone who is on that committee should have received an absence for every single time that committee does not meet. Is that
Point of information.
Say your point.
Is there a way to appoint a special chair of that committee since the chair is not performing their duties in any way?
Okay, there is no way to appoint a special chair of the committee. A motion may be made in a meeting to call for a vote of no confidence against the chair. That is the method that is used to hold Senate officers accountable. So that is something that can be done. But
if there are no meetings, how could I vote of no confidence in y'all?
No. The vote of no confidence is in a general meeting like this one, not in a committee.
by your point of information, what would that look like?
Okay, so a senator would make a motion for a vote of no confidence, and it would have to receive a certain number of seconds. I believe that is a 1/4 second, and then it would proceed into an actual hearing on that.
Point of information, is there an academic or professional or excusable reason as to why the chair has not created a meeting time yet this semester?
I don't know who you're talking about. So, all right, are there any further points of information? Are there any further items for open session?
I guess one more point of information. Why don't you? If you're the speaker, I'm sorry, why don't you? If you're a speaker, isn't that part of maybe your responsibility or very honest to know if the chair is holding meetings or not?
We do receive committee reports from the chairs every week, or we're at least supposed to, but it is the responsibility of the entire body to, and those committees to hold their chairs accountable. So if there is legislation that is not moving through committees like it should be, then that is something we need to be made aware of. But there is no mechanism for me personally or any Senate officer to enforce those rules, basically.
Thank you.
I guess another way to say that is each Senate officer is elected independently, so they answer directly to the body. Just because I am the speaker and there is another chair doesn't mean that I hire that person or have any direct power over them. We are all just different Senate officers. That's not to pass the buck at all or anything like that. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. There is nothing I can do besides talk to that person. Are there any further items for open session?
Mr. Speaker, I actually have an item. It's called the SGA Acceptance and Anti-Discrimination Act.
All right.
The email.
Okay. All in favor of adding this to the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That passes. You have 2 minutes.
I have to walk down?
You don't have to.
All right, I'm gonna stay up here. I don't feel like walking. I have a midterm tomorrow, so my mind's kind of scatterbrained. Basically, what this does is it, allows anybody who wants to be a part of an SGA committee to do so. And since, we as students, part of our funds are going towards these SGA committees, I feel like we should be able to participate them freely and not be denied.
All right. Are there any questions? Seeing none, this bill is referred to the RR committee. Are there any further items for open session? Senator Zelaya.
Yeah, so I have a resolution.
Okay. Brief description.
Is this the right time?
Yes.
So just describe the resolution?
Yep, 2 seconds.
All right, so the resolution pretty much is it's a resolution to extend our respect to the two fallen Aggies. They're no longer with us. They went to be at a better place, and to also express our best wishes for an Aggie who's still in the hospital. So that's pretty much it.
All in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. You have 2 minutes for, actually, yes, you have 2 minutes for a presentation.
Okay, so I don't really know how this is going, but I was just gonna read it. I don't know, like I was very touched when I was talking to other Aggies just to see like the Aggie family really come together. And I think that, I don't know, I just hope that somebody one day will be standing up here introducing a resolution to honor me, to honor you, because that's what Aggies are all about. And it just happened that it's our chance to honor two Aggies that passed away. So, whereas number one, on March 3rd, 2013, 3 Aggies were tragically involved in a car accident on their way back to College Station after a JROTC in Houston. Amy Pacheco, an 18-year-old girl, Aggie, construction science major from Houston. She went to the Cesar Chavez High School. This is what her friends said. They said that she was always happy and she will be remembered for her passion to serve others. Miguel Hernandez, 18 years old, general studies from Houston. I actually was reading, I'll tell you, Miguel's 18, from Texas. His friends described him as a great friend, that he would be remembered for his desire to unite people. That's what he really wanted to do, to unite people. Francisco Campos, 18 years old. I was actually reading today, and somewhere I read that Francisco and Amy actually dated since freshman year in high school. And Francisco is actually a landscape architecture major from Houston. He's a strong individual who has the support of the entire Aggie family as he recovers. So he's right now in the hospital. They said that he will be there for about 2 more weeks. So Amy Pacheco and Miguel Hernandez, both members of the corporate cadets, left us to be in a better place. Don Francisco Campos survived the condition and is currently recovering in the hospital. So that's what happened, and then this is what the resolution would say. It is that the student body of Texas A&M University wishes to pay respect to the 3 great Aggies by expressing, or here's my funny accent, condolences to the Pacheco and Hernandez families, and by wishing Francisco Campos a speedy recovery. Students will honor these fallen Aggies at Echo Taps, which already happened, at Silver Taps, and on Mustard. We will never forget our brothers and sisters because they are Aggies. And also what I want to do with this resolution is that I wanted to send it to like the parents, I want to send it to their high schools, and also I heard that Miguel's family is still in Mexico, so we'll work with whatever department in the university to translate this and to give it to the family's own language so they actually understand that we care, not in just the language, but in an Aggie language. So this is what this is.
Are there any questions?
Just friendly amendment, the core cadets is spelled out.
Okay, I will edit any grant, whenever a bill passes, I do go through and make sure there are no minor typos, so don't worry about that. I guess that is the only question. So we will now move into a period of debate on this resolution. Is there any debate against? Seeing none, the chair deems debate one-sided, and we will now move into a vote. Is there a motion for a voice vote? That has been moved and seconded. All in favor of taking a voice vote, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. That passes. All in favor of this resolution, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. That passes unanimously. All right, are there any further items for open session?
Church has a resolution. This is supporting pro-life Aggies for their fun run that they had and the scholarship that they gave out. And thanking them for their efforts.
All right, all in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, that passes. Division has been called. All in favor of adding this to the agenda, please stand. I have 46. All opposed, please stand. That's it. That's 9. I see 9. So this will be added to the agenda. Chair Cheshire, you have 2 minutes for your presentation.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Well, I'll be real brief, y'all. Basically, Pro-Life Aggies had a 5K and fun run that raises money only towards their scholarship program that they give to parenting and pregnant and parenting students. I think that we should recognize any organization that seeks to give scholarships out to other students. And I think it was a great deal. The community came together. Well, a lot of students came together. I ran my first 5K. And there were probably over 150 people there, which was really great. Again, all
Point of information.
Say your point.
Did Chair Cheshire actually finish the 5K?
Okay, he did in 38 minutes and 11 seconds.
True revolutionary, Senator Brown. But I did do it. And like I said, this is only to honor them for their scholarship program, which I think is really great. And I think it really exemplifies the Aggie value of selfless service. The organization can rally around any student that encounters a situation where they need additional funds to go through school, and know that the Aggie family is with them 100% and is here to support them regardless of their decision. So yeah, I think this is I think you ought to consider this, and I'd like your vote. Thanks.
All right, are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against this resolution? Senator O'Neill.
Senator O'Neill, freshman senate. Scholarships are great. Supporting social service is great. But the fact that it's pro-life, regardless of your position, kind of attaching Senate support to something that has a political issue involved. I wasn't for the concealed carry. I felt like that was Senate's to be attaching endorsement to something that's pro-life. I know a lot of the people in here are pro-life, that's fine, but it doesn't matter. This is Senate, we're supposed to represent student opinions. Not all students are pro-life. Think of your constituents, think of what they believe, not just what you believe. That's all I have to say.
All right, speaking in favor, Senator Walters.
I don't think that this bill is by any way, shape, or form actually supporting a political platform. Is this a bill? I'm sorry.
Point of information.
State your point.
Is Pro-Life Aggies a political organization?
That is debatable. Okay, so I do not answer debatable points of information. If there is a legitimate disagreement that can be made on either side, it's not my place to decide that. So continue.
Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is that despite whether this is a political organization or not, we're not supporting a political stance, we're not supporting pro-life or pro-choice. We're supporting the idea that somebody is offering scholarships, they're offering money, a chance for these parents, single parents to go to school. Any opportunity for a student to get money to the, to go to school is a good one. Yield to Russo, Senator Russo.
Senator Russo, off campus, just real quick, guys. This is not about pro-life or pro-choice, as has been stated. This is about whether or not we're going to support people trying to go out of their way to raise funds to help a person who has some special needs as an expected parent in trying to further their education. Like, this is what we should be doing with this, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice. It doesn't matter. This is a positive step in the right direction, and by endorsing this action, this isn't us endorsing them giving a bunch of money to the Coalition for Life or something like that. As much as I personally would be in favor of that, this isn't what this is about. This is about helping out expectant parents and helping them stay Aggies and further their education. And with that, I'm going to yield to Chair Sosa.
I completely agree. This is the third scholarship that Pro-Life Aggies gives out to a student who is either parenting or is currently pregnant. And I think that, like other senators have said, this isn't about their stance on an issue. This is about what they're doing to give out scholarships to students who are in need. And so I think we need to bring in our own political views on the name of the organization. We just need to consider what they're doing. And it's only helping our fellow Aggies. So with that, I move to the previous question.
All right, the previous question has been moved and seconded. All in favor of moving to a vote on this bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
That passes. We will now take a vote on the resolution.
Mr. Speaker, I move for a voice vote.
The motion has been made for a voice vote and seconded. All in favor of taking a voice vote on this resolution, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
That passes.
Division.
Division has been called. All in favor of taking a voice vote, please stand.
With you, Trevor. With you.
I have 43. All opposed, please stand.
Wait, what are y'all standing for?
I have 11. So that passes, and we will now move into a voice vote on this resolution. All in favor of this resolution, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, that passes. Is anyone calling the position? Okay.
Senator McNutt.
Are there any other items for consent? Okay, 2 cents subscription.
It's just a resolution congratulating the election commission for rather successful.
Okay, all in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, it's just what I said. It's a resolution congratulating the election commissioner, Addison Prince. He's not here with us anymore, but well, at that section. And the what I think is a fair and rather successful election, student body election. Questions?
All right, are there any questions? Senator Pointer.
Senator Pointer off campus. Although it was a great and successful election, which I would agree, did you approve of the runoff voting this election year?
Yes.
What about it did you like?
That is out of order, as that is a follow-up question, and only one question is allowed for items of new business, which this resolution is. So, we will now, that concludes question and answer, we will now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against this resolution? Seeing none, the chair deems debate one-sided, we will now move into a vote. Are there?
I move for a voice vote.
A motion has been made for a voice vote and seconded. All in favor of taking a voice vote on this resolution, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
That passes. And all in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. That passes unanimously. Are there any further items for open session? Seeing none, the chair deems debate open. The chair deems open session to be closed. We will now move into executive reports. The student body president is not present for his executive report. Mr. Chief Justice. Oh, committee reports, that's right. Does anyone request to hear a committee report from a committee chair?
Can I make a request to hear one from the student services?
Okay, a request has been made to hear one from student services. Unfortunately, the student services chair is not present to give that committee report. Do any of the chairs wish to make any announcements?
Just real quick, I know it's main hall division, when it's obvious that there is no division, but, we're not gonna allow that anymore. There is a way by which we can not do that anymore.
Okay. All right, C, Senator Williams.
I'd like to report from community relations.
Okay, Chair Price.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So, we don't have any legislation in session, or in committee right now, but if you'd love to give us some, we're open here. Thank you.
All right, are there any further requests for committee reports? Seeing none, that period of the meeting is closed. Mr. Chief Justice, do you have any reports?
No report.
No report from the board, perfect. As far as my executive report, this has been a great meeting. Welcome again to all of you new senators. Very glad we can fill those spots. And I know it's close to the end of the year, but there's still, as you've seen, there's still a lot we can get done in these last 5 meetings. And so thank you for staying in order. Thank you to those of you who asked questions and debated. I'm always impressed to see new senators who just jump right into things and start making their constituents' voices heard. If you were elected to the new session, the 66th session, good luck to whoever has to say that every day for that session. The first meeting will be on March 27th. And that will be the meeting at which several officers are elected, not all of them, and the new student body president will be sworn in, but not officially take over. So we will be having a meeting ahead of time, and there will be an email going out with a lot of detailed information about that. There will be a meeting ahead of time for anyone interested in running for an officer position. We're going to have an officer expectations meeting ahead of time. It's not mandatory, but it is highly encouraged for anyone who's interested in that. Other than that, everyone stay safe over spring break. Good luck on any exams you have left. And if there are any questions.
Point of information or something. Okay, so the meeting after spring break, is that going to be a committee meeting or is that going to be a 65th session meeting?
There is a 65th session meeting on March 20th as well. And there will be committee meetings happening in between. So technically that would be over spring break, but it'll be up to the committee chairs to basically stay in contact with their committee and make sure that they meet. As for new senators, all of the preference committees in that Google Doc, if you didn't receive that survey, then be sure to let one of us know. But everyone should have received it.
More information. There were a lot of bills that were sent to committees tonight. how can we hold each chair accountable for actually accomplishing the communication between over spring break?
I will be sending out a recap tonight or early tomorrow of everything that has been sent to committee, and I will also include the contact information for all of the committee chairs. Soon, every senator will know which committee they were sent to. That decision is one that will be made, I think, over the next couple of days. And after that, and that will be hopefully in accordance with everyone's preferences. It's not possible to give everyone the committee they pref because they have to say somewhat even. But so all of that will be sent out over the next couple of days.
Point of information. Do the 65th and the 66th sessions run concurrently?
Yes. So what will happen is after spring break, the 65th and the 66th sessions will have this kind of meeting on alternate weeks. So there probably won't be any committee meetings for the new session. There may be one, but that'll again be dependent on their preferences. And most of those meetings are transition type things. So officer elections, executive confirmations, and new business only. There will be one final meeting that is both sessions together.
Can everyone quiet down, please?
Yeah. There will be one final meeting on April 30th, and that is on a Tuesday because it is right before Dead Days. But that is where both sessions meet together. It's one right after another. And then at that point is when the transition officially happens and the new SGA takes over. So, yes.
How does that affect the committee attendance for the 65th session? If they're going to be running same weeks?
Committees don't have to meet on Wednesday nights. It'll be up to each individual committee to determine what is best for their membership and what would be a good time that everyone can attend. And so we'll be sure to have information out on when all of the committees are attending. So if you're in the new session and they happen to be on Wednesday nights, you can either change committee or go to a different one. Be sure to not always kind of All right, are there any further questions? Speak for this. Yes.
All right, howdy y'all. I just wanted to introduce myself real quick, especially to the new senators. My name is Sarah Edwards, and I am the Senate advisor. What that means is in these meetings, I usually don't speak up. But if you ever need anything outside of Senate, if you have questions, if you need a resource, if you're wondering about getting involved in other aspects of SGA or anything that that might look like, my office, if you came in through student government, there's the open space and then the committee cubes and then that little hallway. My office is in there before you come back out into the main area. Please feel free to come by anytime. I'm always happy to be a resource to y'all. For the senators who are going to be going on to the new session, I'll continue to see you. But also, as you're making that transition, if you ever have questions and for any reason you can't get a hold of Star Mariana, juggling the 65th and 66th, I can help you out with that as well. So, just wanted to say hi and have a safe spring break. Have fun, make good choices. Yeah. And if they don't have fun, I just said make good choices.
I want to make one announcement before calling closing roll call. I will be sending out a spreadsheet with the committee assignments for the next couple of weeks, or a few days actually. So please check the attachments that I sent because some people missed the committee meetings and they said that they didn't know which committee they were part of. It will be sent out in a spreadsheet, okay, for the new senators. Also, all the bills are on the website, it's updated, and I will be updating the names and emails of the new senators tonight, okay? So, with that, SVP Cyclops. Speaker Moen.
Howdy.
Myself, Chair Harris.
Howdy.
Chair Mandry.
Howdy.
Chair Price.
Howdy.
Chair Cheshire.
Howdy.
Chair Ganoon. Chair Sosa.
Howdy.
Chair Miller.
Howdy.
Senator Sang. Senator Gordon.
Howdy.
Senator Howard.
Howdy.
Senator Hoyle.
Howdy.
Senator Patrick.
Howdy.
Senator Tosh.
Howdy.
Senator Rhodey.
Howdy.
Senator Smith. Senator Blunt.
Howdy.
Senator Gresham.
Howdy.
Senator Buckley. Senator Zelaya.
Howdy.
Senator Parks. Howdy. Senator Davis. Howdy. Senator Nate.
Howdy.
Senator Garcia. Senator Springer.
Howdy.
Senator Giles.
Howdy.
Senator Cantwell.
Howdy.
Senator Mitchell.
Howdy.
Senator O'Neill.
Howdy.
Senator Green.
Howdy. I couldn't hear you.
Senator Couture.